Hi everybody, welcome back to this super extra bonus, but not really bonus because it's just on the normal feed, episode of Wild Podcast, where we will look back at the Rapiers and Ruffles season and basically, as you know, because you've been here before, we're going to rank the films in some sort of order if we can and see what we agree or disagree on. I am Adrian Smith and I am joined by Rod Barnett. Hello, Rod.
Hello, Adrian.
It feels like we were just only speaking 5 minutes ago.
That's bizarre because this is coming out weeks later. I don't know what you're thinking about.
It's amazing how these things work. Now, Rod, I've got a confession to make.
Yeah?
So after we did our penultimate episode on Xenobel, I suddenly remembered that I have a book that we could have been using for this entire season.
Oh, holy crap, what?
And I've used one other seasons we've done. I've had a book handy, like our superhero one and our Poliziotteschi one and the sci-fi one, the space movies one. And then I completely forgot that I've got a book that covers most of these movies until we've done them all and it's too late. So I've got a book called Heroes Never Die, The Italian Peplum Phenomenon, 1950 to 1967.
Oh, holy crap.
By Barry Atkinson.
I have that book too.
I know, right?
Oh!
I forgot that this book doesn't only... He takes quite a broad definition of peplum. And
Oh, that's true.
We've talked about this before, that, you know, you've got peplum as in Hercules and his pals. But then if you go more kind of adventure film, peplum adjacent, that can cover all of these movies. And that's exactly what he's done in this book. And I forgot that. Because on the front, it's just loads of pictures of manly men.
This is hideous. I can rotate my head and I'm looking right at the spine of the book.
Yeah.
Oh, my
so
Lord.
This book, I know it's almost like we need to start the season again.
We kind of have. I call a redo. We got a redo. Oh man.
So
this is terrible.
In this book, there are chapters called "The Pirates," "Swashbucklers," "Historical and Costume Dramas." There is even a chapter called "Zorro and the Musketeers."
Damnation.
And we missed it completely. So sorry, Barry Atkinson. I'm giving you a plug now when it's too late.
Oh, this is frustrating. I've got that book
right
there.
But the funny thing is that he only goes up to 1967, and our last two films were 1969. So it was too late to use it at the end of the podcast as well.
But I'd have been very happy to have not been swimming in a sea of wondering and cursing for the first 8 films anyway.
I know, right? Typical, isn't it? Now, I did go through and check. Not all of the films that we did, not all of those 8 pre-1969 films are in here, but most of them are.
Of course.
In fact, I think maybe all of them are. Anyway, I went through and I read everything, and it's good. So the book, like I said, is organised quite well, and it's mainly the gladiators and the Hercules types. But then, the last few chapters are sort of expanding into the more kind of Middle Eastern films like The Thief of Baghdad and the Aladdins and Sandakan the Pirate. There's a chapter on the pirates. All of that sort of stuff comes later on in the book. There's one about Vikings and conquerors, and so it's worth checking out. It's a good book. It turns out the author is actually not from down the road from me, from Brighton, I think. Sorry to bring that up now, and I'm a bit annoyed with myself that I didn't realise this at the beginning.
Well, I mean, it's a mistake that we both made. We're both stupid in this respect.
Isn't that funny?
What an oversight. Ridiculous.
But, well, for you and I now, we can both read back through it and see whether we agree or disagree with what he has to say.
This is true.
But for anyone listening, it's worth checking out. And I'm sure, and lots of people keep asking me, Rod, if we're going to do an actual Sword and Sandals season, because that seems like we've been going for 4 years and we haven't done that yet, and maybe we should.
Well, we've been circling that genre. We've been circling the giallo genre.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not off the table.
No. So when we do, this book will come into its own.
This is true.
But anyway, worth checking out. So, but unfortunately, he cuts it off at 1967. So Zorro and the Three Musketeers is not in the Zorro and the Zorro in the Court of England. is not in the Zorro chapter. But anyhow, we are back to try and put these films into some kind of order. I found this very difficult this time.
Very, very difficult, yes.
Yeah. In previous seasons, it's been very clear what films are a bit rubbish and which aren't. But this one, they're pretty much all bangers. I mean, how did you find it?
Well, it was very easy for me to name my favorite and my least favorite, and everything else is how I'm feeling that day. I hate to put it that way, but I honestly feel that 8 of the 10 films that we watched are so fantastic in quality, so much at a similar level of entertainment value, that it's really just kind of picking and choosing. Well, I kind of like this element in this film more than I like that element in that film. Which, I mean, I hate to have to point out that I'm just not going to sit here and split hairs. I've made a list, and it boils down to my own personal preferences, as will your list. Yeah. But I could take numbers 2 through 8 of this list and throw them up in the air and arrange them in random order, and it would be just as valid for my entertainment value reading of them.
I mean, you're almost bringing into question the whole pointlessness of this exercise.
No, that's just it. I think it's not. I think that actually I would read it as a pointing out of why this exercise is necessary, because it reinforces how strong the genre is. Because we did not sit down and go, let's try to choose the ones that are best or most highly regarded. We just chose ones that looked interesting or that we might have known. I knew a couple of them from previous viewings, and the rest we were just going on, well, that looks like an interesting subject. I like some of the stars, whatever it was. This is, to a large extent, about a 70% random choice of this genre for us to watch. And for us to rate these as highly as we did across the board speaks very well to the genre itself.
Absolutely. And all of these films for me were first time viewings. I'd never heard of most of them, and I'd never seen any of them before. How about you? Were there any in here that this was a first time for you?
There were only 4 of them that I had seen before.
Oh, okay.
I had seen Tiger of the Seven Seas, Women of Devil's Island, The Black Duke, and Invincible Masked Rider. I'd seen those 4 before. The other 6 I had not seen before.
Okay. Well, would you like to go first then with your top 10?
Certainly.
Well, I say top 10. There's only 10.
Your
ranking of the 10.
Easily enough for me, one of my favorite of this season and of this entire genre is The Invincible Masked Rider. It's the Umberto Lenzi film. It's a movie that I had a lot of affection for a few years. It's what made me decide to write a chapter for Troy Howarth's book on Umberto Lenzi, focused on how some of the things in these early adventure movies that Lenzi made in the 60s can be seen as precursors to the way he would handle more hard-edged violence in the movies that he made in the 70s and 80s. I think it is a great adventure film. It is colorful, exciting, just an excellent example of this genre. It's a blast.
Yeah, fair enough. That's your number 1?
That's my number 1, yes.
Okay. Well, do you want to just do all of them and then I'll do mine?
Sure.
Or
my
do you
number
want me
2.
to say...
Yeah. That's that. I'll go through. So number 2 is the Black Duke. Much more historical in its storyline. I am a huge fan of the cast. I think it's very well played. I like the fact that there's a lot of nuance in the main character, where the movie asks us to see him as both a good and a bad guy, depending on the circumstance and the situation and his way of reacting to it. Just a solid film that, strangely enough, does not fudge too much with the historical facts. Kind of interesting in that respect.
Yeah.
Number 3, Executioner of Venice. A lot of my enjoyment of this film boils down to enjoying Lex Barker on screen and loving all of the scenery there in Venice where the movie is shot. Good action sequences, exciting movie. I really enjoyed the push and pull of when our main character is going to discover his actual lineage. Good stuff in Executioner of Venice. I think it's a solid movie. While being complete fiction as opposed to The Black Duke, which is at times adhering to historical fact, it has a similar feel of something that's attempting to play straight with the time period and what was going on. So high marks there. Number 4, Women of Devil's Island. This one gets big points from me simply by virtue of the wonderful switch that it pulls, where a character that we have been accepting in one particular role turns out to have a very different role. Very good switcheroo, well played. I like the cast. The female members of the cast get to do a lot. There's a lot going on, especially in the full-length cut of the film. We get to see where you get some detail, some nice romantic details with some secondary characters. It really adds to the story a good bit. I just think it's a very solid movie. Number 5, Secret Mark of D'Artagnan. I'm a sucker for Three Musketeers films, and man, this is a good one. Really, it's great to have kind of this side adventure for two of the Musketeers going off and having this having this little adventure. The comedy bits that seem built right out of the humor that's in the original novel is great. Basically, it's a fun adventure that feels very much like a real Three Musketeers story. All of the weirdness we talked about when we covered this film, the incredible thing with the ladder, where they're using that one ladder to get inside this castle, and it's far from impossible what they're doing. It's very possible. It's just one of those things where you're like, you got to be crazy to try this, but it's a blast. Number 6, Terror of the Red Mask. Such an enjoyable movie. My goodness, this is where we get into an area where I'm just going, well, which one do I like more? And today I like Terror of the Red Mask more than I like the other films further down the list. It's just, it's fun. It's entertaining. I like the way the movie plays with our expectations of what the main character is going to be. It's well done. And I think the action is fun too. The humor is the one spot where the movie kind of tweaks my nose a few times more than it needs to, but overall still like the movie.
Is that the one with the comedy monks?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Number 7, Tiger of the Seven Seas. Very much enjoy Tiger of the Seven Seas. I had seen it before, and my memories had been positive, and I was glad when I returned to it that it was as good as my memories served up for me. It was good. It's a good adventure film. It feels like we're maybe stretching a point by having it in this season, but it is a kind of Rapiers and Ruffles thing. But it could also be a pirate movie. I like the ship, and therefore the pirate crew being passed down from the father to the daughter, and the daughter making the whole thing believable enough that these men would follow her. Good story all across the board. I enjoy Tiger of the Seven Seas quite a bit. Number 8, Zorro and the Three Musketeers. Boy, chocolate and peanut butter, right? Turns out better than you thought it would, even though, as with the film we covered last week, Zorro and the Court of England, it becomes a question of how far are we willing to stretch Zorro until he breaks. I find it fairly easy to accept a Zorro in Spain. running into the Musketeers in the wrong century and everything. But there's a part of me that wants to play that game that a lot of film lovers like to do, which is, maybe James Bond is a code name. No, it's not a code name, you lying sack of garbage. You know that's not true. Stop. But is it possible that Zorro is something that lives in the heart of all Spanish-speaking men, and that he can reappear in different places and become the hero the people need? And in this case, you also get the Three Musketeers, or really the Four Musketeers. It's a blast. I enjoy it. It's so much fun. It's just the humorous bits. They never feel cringy. They feel like they're built right out of the characters and the way especially the Musketeers handle themselves, and the way in which they mock and make fun of other people. It's great stuff. Zorro and the Three Musketeers at number 8. Then number 9, holy crap, it's Zorro again. Zorro and the Court of England.
Okay.
The film we covered last episode. It's one of the few times in this series of films that we've been watching where I feel like the director lets the movie down just a little bit. I don't think he was good enough at staging action. Whereas when you talk about the way action is staged in, The Invincible Masked Rider, it's night and day. I mean, it really feels energetic. Whereas there are times in Zorro and the Court of England where it kind of feels like we're just getting this in the can, and the actors are giving it their all. The director needs to be slapped. So Zorro and the Court of England, not at all a bad film. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but not nearly as good as the preceding 8 movies. Number 10 would be Zenobel.
What a shock.
What a shock. I'm not going to say it's a bad film, although I don't enjoy it very much, because the point of the film is really to kind of transparently comment on what was going on in the world in 1969 rather than to actually be a genre piece. And also, don't get me wrong, I like beautiful naked women just as much as the next guy, but it's not something that will sustain an entire film for me. It's okay. Let's put it this way: I think Zenobel will be the one of these 10 films that I doubt I will ever return to. So there's that. Fair enough. So there's my list.
Wow, very good. Interesting. Pretty much completely different from my list. But like you, I found it hard.
Does it hurt to be wrong? It was terrible. Okay.
Yeah. But like you said, because they're all so good.
Yeah, they are.
You can't really rank them in terms of quality. So I try to rank them in thinking about like the order I might recommend them to people.
That's a good idea.
But even then, I'm not really sure that's worked. Because basically I liked all of these movies. So I'm going to start at 10 and work my way up just to build some suspense.
Okay.
But so at number 10, Zorro and the Three Musketeers.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. But the thing is, I liked it. I did like it. I just found it a bit I found the Musketeers too silly. I think maybe that's why I've put it at 10. But I did enjoy it. Number 9, Terror of the Red Mask.
Oh.
I know. I don't know. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm not sure why.
Well, I mean, you always seem to respond better to silly humor than I do, so I'm a little surprised, because that's really the only black mark, or I guess maybe red mark, that Terror of the Red Mask has for me is the humor. The humor kind of clangs. So. Mm-hmm.
But I did like it, and it's got that amazing. Again, they're already blurring into one film in my head. Terror of the Red Mask is the torture sequence with the red hot poker.
Yes.
In the where you can see that it really is a red hot poker. It's not a special effect, which is very impressive.
Which is impressive, and also a question of like how did they pull that off specifically? That's a definitely great movie trick.
How much of a bonus did that guy get that day
for being that close to that? Yeah.
For having that waved in his face. And then at number 8, I've got Zenobel. I guess I liked it slightly more than you. I do think it's interesting looking at it from that point of view of this is what men in the late 60s think feminism is.
Yes.
And then failing completely. But also, and obviously, the cast are all very beautiful, and it's very beautifully photographed, and I like the score.
It's a great looking film, yeah.
Yeah. Then at number 7, I've got The Invincible Masked Rider. I really, with these now, I couldn't tell you why one is better than the other, because they're all, from here down, they could all be joint number 1.
Well, that's the thing, is that's something we were talking about as we went through the season. It's like, I started to apologize at a certain point, going, I hate to say this, folks, but it's just another one that I really, really liked,
Another good film. Well, there are too many film bros out there that try to make a name for themselves by just saying how bad everything is.
Oh, I know.
And I find this quite funny. With my job, I'm often looking for clips or video essays and things. So I'll put the name of a film into YouTube, and the first thing that comes up is why this film sucks. And it's just, I'm like, come on, people.
Oh, yeah,
look, why can't we just find the good in things? So I think it's fine. Right. So from here down, I've got a top 3. Now these middle ones are all good. So I've got 6 is The Black Duke.
Yeah.
5, The Executioner of Venice. I did love the, because I've been to Venice a few times. I'm lucky to have been able to do that. So I loved the fact that it was really shot there and I could see all the places I knew. And it also was just a great film. So yeah, The Executioner of Venice at number 5. Number 4, The Secret Mark of D'Artagnan. That is a great one for all the reasons that you said.
It's a blast of a film, yeah.
Yeah. And now my top 3 could really have been in any order, I think. And you might be surprised, really. But so number 3, I've got Women of Devil's Island.
Yeah, good film.
I loved that one. It was great. I've got, maybe this is just because we just watched it, but I've got Zorro in the Court of England at number 2.
Oh, wow.
I really enjoyed it. I just found it really fun. And like I said in the last episode, it doesn't sag, and the actors are all great. I know the shooting of it is a bit slapdash, perhaps.
At times.
I just found it really entertaining. But my favourite film, I think, is possibly tied, actually, between number 1 and number 3. My ordering has been terrible in this thing. But I really love Tiger of the Seven Seas.
Oh, it's a hell of a film. Yeah, great film.
Although it should be called Tigress of the Seven Seas, but that doesn't sort of trip off the tongue quite so easily.
And it would kind of give the game away a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But Tiger of the Seven Seas and Women of Devil's Island are 2 of probably my favourite discoveries of this season.
Oh, they're great films. I love them.
Yeah. Both really good. So, but yeah, I found this is the hardest ranking of films I've had to do because they're all good, basically.
Uh-huh.
There's not a single duffer in there. Unlike previous seasons where there have very definitely been a few.
Yeah, well, there have been seasons when it has not been difficult for each of us to know which one was going to be ranked last.
Yeah, but yeah, basically, I've really enjoyed it. So thank you, Rod. I'm publicly thanking you for having this idea and then putting together a fantastic list of films.
Honestly, I will take credit for the whole Rapiers and Ruffles season, but I cannot take credit for picking the films because I just assembled a gargantuan list of these things, and we could have put together another list of 10 of these things and gone through a different 10 entirely. I think we might have run into the same problem, which is that so many of them are just so entertaining that the genre itself kind of makes this fun.
One thing that did dictate our selection from your big list at the beginning was finding versions we could watch in English.
True.
That did help to narrow it down because unfortunately there were a few where we could only find them in Italian. There was one I could only find in Russian.
Yeah.
And some I just couldn't find at all. So it was partly, sort of narrowed down by availability, which again, as we say every time, despite the fact that we live in this golden age of physical media releases of films, there are still so many out there. Once you go beyond the obvious genre, favorites of horror and giallo and whatever, when you get to the stuff like this, there are still so many films that are basically lost, or at the very least, just down the back of a filing cabinet.
They're hidden. They're hidden, or they're hiding, or they're out of sight for no good reason whatsoever, other than a lack of interest by enough people to start raising their voices and shaking the bushes. It's like, hey, this is, much like the Gothic horror sets. There could be sets of these movies as well, and I think that I think the films deserve it.
Yeah, Absolutely. So come on. Once we've done our other box sets we've been planning, we'll do one of these.
Yes. Our fantasy land continues to
Yeah.
broaden. Yes.
Once we get past like the fifth collection of Franco and Chicho films, we'll start work on
Well, yeah.
Rapiers and
We've made
Ruffles.
a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it would be good, wouldn't it? But I'm glad. This is why we're doing this podcast, is to raise awareness of these forgotten films, and these ones definitely shouldn't be forgotten because they're so fun and they're so entertaining. And for the most part, apart from Xenobel, they're all aimed at a family audience. These are films that kids would have gone to enjoy and cheered the heroes and booed the villains and all of that. It's great.
Great stuff.
Right, well, that is it. We are done. We've finally finished the season that we started in February, I think, and it's now September.
Took us a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a few detours. We weren't able to we weren't able to do a good solid 2 episodes a month. So we're sorry, folks.
Yeah, but hey, what do you want? This is free. So
yeah, you should be thanking us and buying more T-shirts.
All you've got to do is listen to the adverts at the beginning, and then you get all this great content for free. So what are you all complaining about? I don't know why we're telling off our audience. This is not a great
I don't
way
know
to end
what
the
this
season.
is. I think we may have made a misstep here.
To rein this back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks everybody for sticking with us through this season. We'll be back soon with we'll do a mini season. I haven't quite figured out yet what that's going to be, but we'll come back to you soon with what we're going to do. And then we still also haven't decided what our next big season will be. So this is all exciting to see what the future will hold for the podcast. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you again, Rod, for this brilliant suggestion. And do go now and read all about it in the Heroes Never Die book.
Yes,
and,
gonna pull that book off the shelf and dust it off and check it out.
Yeah. So we will be back soon. In the meantime, you can get in touch with us. We'd love to hear which films you've enjoyed from this season, if you've been watching along, and or if you've got any suggestions for future seasons. You know, Peplum, yes, we know. Eurospy, yeah, that's on the list.
Yep.
And westerns, we've had a few requests for westerns. But if there's anything else really obscure, the more obscure the better, that you want to suggest, then we're totally up for that. So do get in touch. We love hearing from you all. You can use the link in the show notes on the link tree there, or you can just email us wildwildpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you, everybody. Rod, any final thoughts?
No, please pay attention to the other podcasts that I do on a regular basis. The Bloody Pit, I promise we will have more and more episodes as the year goes on. It's the way it goes.
Oh, yeah, and Rod and I might do an episode over there too.
Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there was a film that we were going to do for this season that turned out to be Spanish. So we are going to go and do that on the Bloody Pit at some point in the next couple of weeks.
Because I am not going to limit my podcast to any one country at all.
Exactly. Yeah, you're much more broad-minded over there.
It fits the bill because there is no bill to fit.
Yeah, perfect. Right, so until then, thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back soon. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.